All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to unpack the core ideas behind the worldwide phenomenon that is The Secret. It's a concept that has grabbed the attention of millions with one single incredibly powerful promise.
So, the whole thing really boils down to this one huge question. What if your thoughts, the ones happening in your head right this second, could literally, physically shape the world around you?
And look, the whole idea here is that this isn't some new age fad. It's presented as this piece of hidden knowledge, a fundamental law of the universe that's been understood and used by a pretty small, select group of people all throughout history.
So to really get a grip on this, we've got to go back, way back, and look at where it supposedly all started, which is framed as being basically as old as civilization itself. You've got people like Bob Proctor, one of the contributors in the book, claiming this knowledge has ancient roots. The idea is that history's most successful civilizations, like the Babylonians, they didn't just get lucky. They supposedly understood this hidden principle.
And this right here, this is supposedly one of the first times we see the secret actually written down. It's a line from the ancient Emerald Tablet. As within, so without. I mean, the message is pretty straightforward, right? Your inner world, your thoughts, is meant to directly create your outer world of experience.
Okay, so let's finally pull back the curtain. What is this secret that's been whispered about for ages? Well, it has a name, and I am almost certain you've heard it before. And there it is. The big secret is the law of attraction. The book calls it the most powerful, most foolproof law in the entire universe. And the core idea is pretty simple. Everything, and that includes our thoughts, has a frequency. And just like a magnet, like attracts like. So positive thoughts are going to attract positive outcomes, and negative thoughts, well, they attract negative ones. The book has this really powerful analogy to explain it. It wants you to think of yourself as a human transmission tower, constantly broadcasting a signal out into the world with your thoughts. And that signal, it isn't just local. It travels across the entire universe, attracting back whatever happens to match its frequency. Okay, but this is where it gets a little counterintuitive. The book claims that the universe just doesn't hear the word don't. It doesn't process negatives. So when you're thinking, I don't want to be late, all the universe hears is late, and it brings you more lateness. Focusing on what you don't want, paradoxically, attracts it right to you.
All right, so it's one thing to know about this law, right? But how do you actually, use it? Well, the book lays out a really practical method, a three-step thing it calls the creative process. And it's presented as a pretty simple formula. First up, ask. You got to get crystal clear on what you want. Think of it like placing an order. Second, believe. You have to believe that it's already yours. This means acting, thinking, and feeling as if you've already got it. And third, receive. This is about getting into the emotional state of how amazing it will feel when it finally shows up. And they have this awesome metaphor for how this works. Think of the universe as your own personal genie, like from Aladdin. It doesn't question you, it doesn't judge your wishes, it just hears your dominant thoughts and feelings and says, your wish is my command. Now, this doesn't mean you just sit on your couch and wait for $1 million to show up. The process involves something they call inspired action. It's not about hard work or struggle. It's about acting on these little intuitive nudges that feel easy and natural, almost like you're flowing with a river instead of fighting against the current. Okay, so how do you actually generate those powerful feelings, the belief, the gratitude that make this whole thing work? The book offers a couple of key tools for just that. They focus on two main things they call powerful processes: gratitude and visualization. Gratitude is seen as this instant energy shifter. By focusing on what you're already thankful for, you're basically sending a signal to the universe to bring you more of that stuff. And visualization, well, that's all about creating a super detailed movie in your mind of your goal, which is supposed to generate those powerful feelings of already having it. And to make this super practical, there's a simple trick from one of the contributors, Lee Brower. He just carried a small rock in his pocket. Every single time he touched it, it was a physical trigger to stop and feel genuinely grateful for something in his life. Simple, right?
And then when it comes to visualization, they bring in this famous quote attributed to Einstein. The idea here is that your imagination isn't just you daydreaming. It's a literal preview of what the law of attraction is lining up to deliver to you. You want to hear a crazy example of this in action? The book tells the story of John Assaraf. He made a vision board and slapped a picture of his dream home on it. Years go by, he moves, and one day he's unpacking boxes in his new house and stumbles upon the old board. He was floored. He realized he was living in the exact house from the picture, a detail he hadn't even consciously remembered. So all of this, it's all building up to a much bigger, almost philosophical idea about your place in the universe. This really gets to the core of the book's philosophy. It claims that on a fundamental level, everything is just energy. That feeling of separation we have between me over here and the world out there is presented as an illusion. In this view, it's all just one giant interconnected energy field. And if that's true, if we're all connected, then the implications are huge. It means that any negative thought you aim at someone else is ultimately being aimed right back at yourself. It's also why competition is seen as a waste of time. It comes from a false idea of scarcity, that there isn't enough to go around. And I think this quote from Lisa Nichols just nails this final empowering message. If you are this unique point of consciousness in one giant energy field, then your ability to create is completely, uniquely yours. Your story isn't written for you. You're the one holding the pen.
So, the book's final takeaway, it's absolutely massive. It suggests that the entire universe, all of it, exists for you. You aren't just a bystander watching life go by. You are the central creative force in your own life. You are the master of your own universe. And so, that really just leaves us with one last big question for you. If the power to shape your reality truly is in your own mind, what masterpiece are you going to create next?